How good would it feel if just for once, instead of you chasing women, trying to chase her to get her to respond to your text, to try to chase her to arrange a date and actually show up, instead of that, imagine if women chased you just for one day. Imagine if just for one day it was like you woke up in the middle of a Lynx ad. Remember those ads where the nerdy guy had all his women chasing after him? With angels falling from the sky, hot, scantily clad angels, women chasing our football teams, running after him. Imagine if you could have that for just one day. I think that's probably every guy's dream, well, most straight guys' dreams at least. Now, I can't quite make the Lynx ad happen. But the truth of the matter is that you can learn to get women to chase you. Let's talk about that. I've heard a lot of men say that because men have to approach women, at least in our Western society, it's the men who have to do that. Because we do that, we always have to be the chasers because we started it that way by approaching, therefore it continues on that way. But actually that's just hogwash. That is really just a result of how we men, a lot of men, set up our interactions, how we approach it, the mindset that we have when we go in. But if you've got to be really honest with yourselves, haven't you all known just one guy at least who wasn't necessarily super attractive, but just always seemed to have women chasing him rather than the other way around? My guess is you probably have, because most of us have in our lives. So what is it that that guy was doing so differently? What is it that I do so differently in my interactions with women that I teach my clients? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you, first of all, a basic framework of how you're going to start to get women to chase you. And then I'm going to give you some strategies, some tools that you can use, some things that I do, very specific things that I do to help create the frame of her chasing you. So, to get started, the thing you need to understand is the idea of frames. So you may have heard of a frame before. What is a frame? So a frame is really a context, okay? What is a context in a social situation? What is that? Now, when you first walk up to and approach a woman, and I don't care if it's at a bar, I don't care if it's out during the daytime or at a house party or at a picnic, when you first walk up to a woman and you approach her, you're creating a frame. And the frame is what is the context here. It could be, the context is this is going to be slightly awkward and uncomfortable. That's the context now, right? Slightly weird, awkward guy tries to talk to girl. The context could be just friends. I'm here and I'm being your buddy and I'm just learning to meet new people and be social here at this barbecue. That could be the context that you're creating. The context could be I'm here to sell you something, right? So you approach a woman during the day and you're there to sell her a membership to RSPCA, right? That's a frame. So that frame that gets set up, that's really important because if you set the wrong frame, that frame will persist for the rest of that interaction. It's really hard to change a frame once created. That's why if you approach a woman and right off the bat, it's a little bit uncomfortable and awkward, it's really hard to escape that uncomfortable, awkward vibe once you've created it. Which leads me on to my next point, which is that when you know what frame you want to create, you've got to create that frame right from the beginning. There's no room for messing about with frame in the beginning. That is the first thing you have to do is letting her know contextually, not literally, letting her know what this is about, what this is going to be, what kind of interaction we're having now, all right? Here's what it is. Because when you first approach a woman, have you ever noticed that look of curiosity, like surprise/curiosity/her on her face? Because in that moment, she's looking to work out what is this going to be, and you got to tell her. So it's got to happen as soon as possible. So what is that frame? What is the frame that you want to bring in? So the frame is this. I approached you because you're cute. I approached you because I think you're hot. But I'm going to stay only if you keep interesting me. It's really important. Yes, it is true. You were the one who had to approach her, probably. But you're only staying. Whether you stay or not, that's entirely up to you. That's what's setting the frame from this point onwards. And then what you do is you reinforce that frame by consistently walking away from women who do not interest you enough. And I can't stress how important this is and how important this is to repeat as a cycle. See, it's all very well, fine and well to hear me say, hey, you got to have a frame of I'm here because you're cute. I'm going to stay, well, only because if you keep interesting me. It's all fine and well for me to say that, but you need to internalize that. That takes time. And the way that you internalize this frame is approaching women, being ready to walk away all the time. Because what too many guys do is they've got this mindset of, I've approached her, now I've got to try to make her like me. Bam, you've lost the frame. Straight away, I've got to try to make her like me. If you start to build a habit of approaching women and walking away the second they stop interesting you, the second they turn you off, and you repeatedly do that, so you reinforce to your subconscious, I will walk away. This is definitely going to happen if you don't interest me. What will happen is, subtly, over a couple of weeks of doing this, your demeanor, your body language, your tone of voice, your way of interacting is slowly going to start to change and morph, because women will feel your readiness to walk away if they don't interest you. And that's a very powerful frame to set right from the get-go. I'm going to walk away if this isn't what I want. And women are going to feel that. Now, it's all good to hear me say this, but I know that what you're looking for are some examples. What are some of the ways that I install this frame in interaction? So one of the things that I do when I first walk in and I talk to a woman is I'm going to tease her. I'm going to banter with her. Now, I'm doing this primarily because I want to have fun. Because that's part of the frame as well, right? The frame is not just I'm here because you're cute and you either interest me or you don't, because that alone can be a very narcissistic, unfriendly, unfun frame who wants to be a part of that. So one of the other things that I'm doing is I want to have fun. That's part of my frame too, right? I'm walking in and I want this to be a fun interaction for me. Not for you, for me. Because if I'm not having fun, I'm going to walk away. And you're cute, so I want to have fun. So I go in having fun very early on. Now what I'm doing is I'm bantering. And the reason I like to banter, and banter, by the way, or teasing, is putting her on the back foot in a fun, playful, affectionate way. It's making her explain herself to you after you've just teased her. And what are some examples of this? I might walk into a group of girls at a bar who are huddled in a corner somewhere having a chat, and I might say, all right, guys, it looks to me from over here like you guys are all hiding from someone. So whose ex is looking around that you guys are trying to avoid? That is an opener I might use. Now, what I'm doing is I'm putting them on the back foot. Oh, no, we're not hiding from an ex. No, really, you guys look like you're hiding from someone. Who broke the law then? Be honest, come on. No, we haven't broke the law. No. Now, it's a playful frame, it's a playful banter that's happening, but what's really going on is they are also then straight away from the get-go having to explain themselves, having to justify why they're sitting in the corner. And I'm not doing it in a narcissistic, mean way. I'm doing it in a fun, playful way so that they're laughing, they're playing along with me. And I might do this a few times in the beginning. Like in the beginning of an interaction, I'll tease and banter in a few different moments, constantly doing that on the back foot. But I'm doing it to make it fun. And it's fun for both of us, but it's also setting that frame of I'm in control. I'm okay to make fun of you, right? That's also a very frame-specific thing. When a guy really likes a girl, one of the first things he does is he stops really teasing her because he's scared of hurting her, or he's scared of annoying her, or scared of turning her off, so he doesn't want to tease. It's part of establishing that really strong frame in the beginning. Now, guys, if you're enjoying this video, before I go on, I just want to ask you to quickly give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to show your support. It's you guys, my followers, my subscribers that make me keep making these incredible videos. So please don't forget to do that. The second thing that I do, and I tell all of my clients, is I know what I want to find in a woman. So I know what's going to make her interesting to me. I know what I'm looking for very specifically. So to give you an idea for myself, I'm looking for a woman who isn't specifically focused on trying to find a relationship. I'm even more excited if she's recently out of a relationship. Or she's dedicated to being single for this year. I'm looking for a woman who maybe is focused on fun and adventure in her life at this point in time. I'm looking for a woman who's got a good sense of humor, who can banter with me, who's fun to talk to and be around. So these are some of the things that I'm hoping to find. So if I'm talking to a woman and I know and I learn about her, oh, I'm looking for a long-term relationship, or it'd be really nice to find a guy for a long-term relationship, or I'm a good girl. I don't do anything. I don't sort of have casual sex. I've never had friends with benefits. I've never done any of that. I'll start to take a step back, right? Because I know what I'm looking for. So really that's the hint. That's the key, is going into an interaction, know what you're looking for, and start asking her questions to learn about if she is what you want. Because when you do that, and again, you're not trying to do that in a hyper-aggressive way, like, hey, I saw you over here, huddled in a corner. My name's Damien. How are you doing? Great, cool. So tell me about your sexual history. Good. I'm not quite doing that, but what I'm doing is I'm trying to learn, and she will feel that I'm trying to learn about her. You know, have you ever been talking to a girl who's a gold digger? Some girls are. Like, what do you do for work? What kind of car do you drive? Where do you live? How old are you? You know, you can feel that you're being screened, assessed by her. You need to flip the table. She needs to feel a little bit, not a lot, but just a little bit assessed by you. And whenever she gives you an answer that you don't like so much, or that isn't ideal, demonstrate that, show that, right? Because if I'm talking to a woman and she's like, I've never had a casual sex relationship, I'll say, oh, really? Really? You've never, but, isn't that the spice of life? Like, isn't that how you discover what you really want? How could you know what you really want in a sexual partner if you only know from the couple of guys you've been in relationships with? You must be lacking something there. So what I'm doing is I'm framing that to her. Now that's a negative thing as far as I'm concerned. I'm not trying to make her feel bad about it. I'm questioning, learning about her, giving her the opportunity to say, oh, no, I've never done it, but I'm open to it. I'm giving her the opportunity to prove to me that, no, she can still be interesting to me, that, oh, no, to my frame, she still has value. I'm giving the opportunity, but I'm letting you know this is not an ideal thing through the way that I communicate and talk to her based on her answers. And what that's doing is letting her know, hey, she can lose me. If she gives answers I don't like, it's possible for me to step backwards. It's possible for me to start walking out of this interaction because I'm losing interest in her. She'll start to feel that by the way that I probe and ask questions and respond to her answers. I know that what a lot of guys attempted to do is they try to make everything positive. So a woman will say, oh, I've never really had a casual sex relationship. And I'll say, wow, I really respect that in a woman. A woman who knows what she wants and isn't going to like sell out in her body. And they try to turn everything into a positive. But it's not, is it? Because a woman's got to be able to say a lot of things that won't be as interesting to you, or won't be as ideal for you. And you need to be able to express that to her, not in a mean way, not in a like, well, that's not a good thing. I don't like that in women, but just in a way of, oh, okay, well, let me learn more about that because that seems problematic. Be willing to do that. And the more you do that, the more you'll find women will start to want to please you. Not every woman, but a lot more than previously. Any woman who's even marginally interested in you will suddenly start to feel herself want to, oh crap, I'm losing this guy. Right? Even though she was only marginally interested in you before, the second you start to back away and she can feel it, oh, he's less interested in me, most women, not all, but many will try to scrabble to catch up. Now, this isn't manipulative. Why? Because you're not being manipulative. You're just being a guy who knows what he wants and is going to back away if she doesn't have what he wants. But the second you're that guy, women are going to want to chase you because that's how people are, right? When we suddenly feel like we're losing someone who we're kind of interested in, we feel compelled to try to chase them. So you're not coming at this from a place of manipulation and game playing. You're coming at it from a very healthy, masculine, I know what I want space. The third thing that I'll do, not in every interaction, but in many, is I'll tell her specifically what turns me on in women, what I find sexy in women. And I don't mean what I find sexy about a woman's body. I mean personality-wise. And so the reason I do that is because I want to give her a frame. I want to give her an ideal to step into. Right? Because it's giving her ways to try to prove herself to me. And again, I'm doing this because I'm letting her know this is what I want. And if she doesn't want to be that, then she can step away herself. I'm giving you the opportunity. And so an example of this might be a woman says to me, I'm actually new in Australia. I'm just here from Canada. I've only been here for 3 months. I want to try living somewhere new because I've never done that before. All right. And what I'll say to her, you know what? That's kind of sexy to me. Like, I find it really sexy in a woman when a woman has a sense, first of all, a sense of adventure, a sense of independence, and just wanting to try something new, trying to be totally, leave everything she knows behind and just explore the world. That's a sense of adventure. That turns me on in a woman. I really like that. So what I'm doing is I'm taking something small she's told me and using that as a catalyst to go into a bigger area that I want. I want a woman who's adventurous, right? I do. Anyway. And so now she knows, oh, ham up the sense of adventure. If I want him to like me more, I can ham up the sense of adventure. I'm giving her that opportunity to do that. And so again, this is another way, and you've probably noticed before when you've chased women, those women will sometimes tell you, this is what I like in a man. This is what I'm looking for in a guy. And that suddenly makes you feel compelled to, oh, well, I better try to be that kind of man. So you're just creating this framework for her. But again, in a non-manipulative way, you're simply stating where you are, what you want, and letting her step into it. Now, fourthly, all of this is fine and well. But what I notice a lot of men have is habitual behaviors that make them very needy, that make them come across as constantly chasing. So what would these be? These would be things like, I have some clients who frequently laugh. They laugh at weird moments inappropriately for no particular reason. It's nervous laughter, or it's anxious laughter, or it's supplicating laughter, trying to get her to like him by laughing at every little thing. You got to cut that out, because if you do all this stuff right, but you got this weird kind of awkward laughter going on because you're nervous, that's going to hurt your frame dramatically, because it's going to belie the fact that you're trying to make her like you. Then there are guys who constantly overemphasize things as being overly positive when they aren't. So for example, if a woman says, I live in the Gold Coast, in a particular suburb, let's call it suburb B. If I say to her, so where in the Gold Coast do you live? And she says, oh, I live in suburb B. And I go, oh my God, I live in suburb B too. That's the most amazing thing ever. That's making too big a deal of the fact that she lives in the same suburb, or she lives in a nearby suburb. And a lot of guys do this. They make small things into really big deals unnecessarily. You don't want to do that, because again, that's another form of supplicative behavior. So you need to pick up these little things that guys often do, and you can sometimes see it in body language too, leaning in too much, trying to get too much in a space, almost like chasing after her. So she takes a step back, you take a step forward. She takes a step back, you take a step forward. I see this happen a lot in interactions when I'm watching guys approach as well. These little things you need to try to avoid and rub out, because they will ruin your really strong frame that you're working on creating. Now, one of the great ways to do this, sure, you can hire a coach, but the other thing to do is just get a wingman, get a friend, tell him you're trying to avoid those behaviors getting to watch you. Alternatively, record yourself in an interaction, right? Get an audio recording. You won't pick up your body language, but you'll pick up a lot of the audio stuff you're doing that'll make you realize, how much am I chasing her still? How supplicating, how eager to please am I coming across in this interaction? Because if you're coming across eager to please, you're destroying your frame. And it'll usually be a couple of little habitual things that you do. And once you iron them out and remember that you're doing them, it's going to change the whole feel of the interaction. So those are just 4 examples of what you can do to change that frame. But if you set that frame right, you will be amazed how many women will start to chase you. It's not going to be like a Lynx ad. It's not going to be every woman you approach is going to want to chase you down and hump you dry. But it's just that far more women are going to suddenly start to pursue you when it never happened before. And that's how you do that, by creating that strong frame of, now you're going to pursue me. Now, if this is something that you find interesting and you'd like to work on more, I do a lot of phone coaching with guys. I do a lot of Zoom video chats where we talk through stuff. I do a lot of listening to guys' interactions with them and giving them high-level feedback. This is where you need to set better frames, working on the teasing, the rapport skills. Just by listening to their interactions they're having with women, I can give a huge amount of coaching. And I do that one-on-one with phone sessions. I work on men's masculinity. I work on your online dating. I'm doing a lot of online dating coaching right now too. So if you're interested in that, I highly recommend you check out the link below to register for a phone coaching session with me. I say phone, but it's usually Zoom or Skype or something, because of course, most of my guys are international. So go and check that out if you're interested to work with me in the future. As always, guys, if you like this video, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up or subscribe to this video. As always, if you like this one, I reckon you're going to like some of the others that I'm going to throw up off to the side, here or here. I can never remember what side it is. Check those out as well. As always, take care, stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon.